the war started in Ukraine, I always wanted to come over, but because I lacked experience, military experience and such, I waited until they accepted normal civilians. And when they did, I felt like this is my chance to help.
Have you had the military experience before? Have you served like in UK or something?
No, no, I haven't. So it was a bit of a leap of faith, but I knew they would train me because I joined through International Legion at first. So they trained me, taught me how to hold a rifle, went through the drills of kissing the ground, but they taught me, and I was happy to gain that experience because then I was trained as a combat medic. So I arrived last year in February 2024. I went through the International Legion. I thought I will do whatever like they will want me to do. So obviously infantry training. In my group, I was the only woman, and yeah, I mean, I met many other internationals. Surprisingly, nobody from Latvia then, only later on. But it was fun. It was difficult, very difficult. It kind of gave me an idea of like what army is like I imagined it to be. And yeah, after about that month and a half of training, I transferred from International Legion to serve in the 60th Mechanized Brigade with some foreigners that I've already known. And yeah, my journey began there in proper service from May 15th of 2024. And my initial role there was a combat medic in the Zaporizhia front. So after about 6 months, I left because I had to think about my health. I missed home. It was a lot to take in, everything that we went through. Obviously, at first it was really calm. Nobody expected anything. But then when we were attacked, sadly, I was in the medical ward when the attack happened. So I was pretty much useless, wasn't able to do much apart from trying to order evacuations for the people, for the guys that were out in the front. It got a bit too much, and that's when I first decided to break the contract and leave. But those 6 months, it was mainly digging the trenches, sitting in the position 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Sometimes I stayed longer. Sometimes there was a chance to come back earlier. And yeah, so it was a bit of like 50-50. Not the most fun job, digging the trenches, but it was necessary. So usually we would dig for what? 8 hours a day, every day, apart from Sundays. Sundays we had a rest day. Sometimes we would have to walk far away to dig them. Yes, it was dangerous. We had drones, but because you're with more experienced guys, both foreigners that have been there since 2022 and also the Ukrainians who appreciate foreigners like us coming over. So it was like, yes, this is worth doing. So if it wasn't for my decision to break the contract because of the circumstances, I would have stayed over winter, but it was necessary. So when I came back, obviously, I stayed in Latvia for about a month, went over to United Kingdom, then came back to Latvia for a month, and I decided to, look, I need to come back. I feel like I have unfinished business that I lost along the way. There's many friends that I made along the way. Some of them still serve. Quite a few of them, sadly, aren't with us anymore. But it is what it is.
Can you maybe elaborate a little bit more about your first decision to go to Ukraine? Was it just to get a military experience, or did you also felt some kind of mission or duty to do it?
To me, I mean, I have relatives living in Ukraine, as much as I have relatives living in Russia, so it's a bit half and half. And obviously, I have relatives living in Latvia. But again, as I said, I wanted to go in 2022 to help the people, but I wasn't able to. So I was working in a factory in the UK, and we had Ukrainian refugees there. So a woman both related from North Luhansk, and they told me their story, why did they come to UK and etc., how they were seeking shelter from war. And I still remember how they were crying after one of the people told them that, look, your house doesn't exist. It's been flattened. Doesn't matter, artillery, FPVs, cabs, doesn't matter. It's been flattened. They have nowhere to go, so they have to settle for the life that they can make in the UK whilst this war happens. And hopefully they can come back. So mainly helping the innocent, helpless people who can't, they have no choice, they have to leave because it's safety. That was the first reason that I decided to come and help. But also that sense of justice that it is wrong for the Russians to invade. It is not their land. The cultures are different. There is similarities, but Ukraine is a country that is unique to themselves. They have their own language, their own history. That's how it should stay, especially in the modern world, where taking territory just doesn't make sense. And you don't hear outside of Ukraine what actually is going on, the amount of civilian deaths there are. Even in Kherson right now, some people, they can't leave the red zones. And it's mainly elderly people and so on. And, it just hurts to hear that the Russians keep doing that. That they keep murdering innocent people just for their own gain.
What was attitude from your family, friends about your decision? I believe they are worried about you, or did they accept it easily, your decision to go to Ukraine?
My mother, well, I didn't tell her. I didn't tell her until I already arrived to Ukraine. I signed the contract, and one time she thought I went to Latvia to take a break. That I was on a holiday. But then 2 weeks passed, and I'm like, I should really tell her. So I called her, she asked. So she called and asked, where are you? Why are you not coming home? And I'm like, well, Mom, look, I'm in Ukraine. The amount of shouting that happened over the phone, I'm holding the phone here and I'm thinking, well, that's that. My dad, I told him. Because my relationship with him was much better than with my mother anyway. And I've never seen the man ever break down like he did. He thought I was joking. We sat behind the table, I visited, there's always, food, alcohol, pleasant conversations, and then I dropped the bomb on him like that. I'm actually going to Ukraine. And he's like, you're joking and stuff, and for 2 days, he thought I was joking, but I'm like, no, Dad, I'm serious. I'm leaving tomorrow. So he was devastated. He was crying. I did not know how to tell him it's going to be okay, because I knew that there's a chance that I will die. There's a chance that I may come back, but injured. 1 leg, 2 legs, doesn't matter. My life wouldn't be the same. But I made up my decision. He wanted to stop me, but I'm guessing that, and maybe still he tells me every time I call him, he's like, remember, when you come back home, you're going to get a beaten butt, a beaten ass for misbehaving and going there, for risking. And as for my friends, I didn't tell many. I told a handful, and they clearly supported my decision. And when some friends in Latvia also found out, there wasn't that many. I don't exactly remember whom I told first. Because I was a tiny little kid at school, and now 20 odd, and do something like this. Something selfless and potentially stupid.
Could you describe the morals, the feeling of your brothers in arms, other people fighting? I mean, war been going on for more than 3 years. How does Ukrainian soldiers, other foreign soldiers feel? Are they losing hope or getting tired? Or what's the overall mood and morals of people you're meeting?
Well, so far all the people that I've met, especially the foreigners that come here. I mean, you get foreigners from America, UK, all over the world. Colombia, Brazil. I mean, a lot of people have different morals and different goals for coming. Some fight for freedom, some fight to help, some fight for their own gain, like military experience or money. Again, that can all be categorized. But in general, among the foreigners, those who decide to stay, those who don't run away after the first firefight, from what I noticed. And firefight, I mean like mortar shells, artillery, roams. If they don't leave then, they usually stick around. And a lot of them have high hopes that eventually we will win. Eventually Ukraine will win as well. Well, as for the Ukrainians, I mean, it's a bit of 50-50, but pretty much every single person that I speak to now, that is the full fear of war. They're tired. They want peace, but they don't want to agree on Putin's terms.
And about you yourself, how do you see your future? You said you must stay until March next year. Are you planning to come back to Latvia or UK, or do you plan to also stay until the victory?
Well, it all depends on the situation. I need to stay until March because my contract says so. So that is when I can gain holidays after 6 months or decide to break my contract. So that is the privilege for the foreigners. But I would like to stay, but I also know my health limits. I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I can endure. I want to help as much as I can, but not to the point where I realize that if I survive this, I will mentally suffer for the rest of the life. But preferably, I would like to stay for as long as I can. After that, it's a bit of a 50-50 situation. I may return to Latvia or I may return to UK. It is unknown yet, but if I do return to Latvia, I plan to relearn the language, do the exams for the language, and potentially maybe enlisting to the military there, because those guys and girls, the women that do come to Ukraine, they see the current modern warfare, the trench warfare, which is, but what war is. This is by far the most modern that it will get, simply because drones. A lot of people tell me, the veterans from 2022, they say that what the war was like in 2022 and what it is now are completely different. Back then there was less drones. Right now there's a lot of them. And as somebody who flies drones, I can see that there's a lot of them. So, yeah, there is potentially that. Or I to go back to UK and perhaps find a more civil profession. But time will tell. First, have to come out alive out of this mess.
The thing how we found out about you is, as you remember, we found in this Z Patriot Telegram channels that you've been shot, killed, and that's how we found out, and luckily you're alive. Has this message also reached your people who know you or your relatives, and have they been worried about this? And how would you explain this whole situation? Why are they propaganding that you are dead?
On that Telegram group, usually, I keep an eye on it. I'm like, this is like a lottery. Are they gonna find me now? Or are they gonna find me later? Usually if the person is crossed out with a red cross, that's when you know that they're dead. I let my parents know, saying, yeah, look, I'm on this website, on this Telegram channel, made by the people who love to do propaganda and have nothing better to do with their day. And I explained to them that, look, they only know where I was born, where I lived, my name, surname, they don't know about you. My other family members, so I'm okay, you're okay. I just need to be a little bit careful which countries I guess I go through, because there are incidents from what I've been told. You go for a country that's supports Russians and they just send you to Russia, and then you end up in prison. But my military friends instantly, as soon as they posted me, they started sending me screenshots and saying, "You're on this Telegram channel." Sorry about it. But yeah, they've been messaging me about it, and they've been saying, like, "Look, are you okay?" and stuff. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good, still alive and kicking." I mean, they didn't say that I was shot or anything. Like, they didn't cross my face out. So yeah, I'm fine.
Have you had a chance to meet now other Latvian fighters? Are you in contact with some other Latvians?
Temporary. I was in the 3rd Assault Brigade. I was teaching the tactical medicine. And I did meet a Latvian guy there. Sadly, my brain is not capable to remember names for long, especially if I don't talk to people as much, but he is like me. Born in Latvia, but his family Russian speaking. So obviously we spoke with him in English, but he also knew Russian. Sadly, he is not alive as far as I know from the guys. They said that he died from shrapnel wounds, but it is to be confirmed. And yes, I've even in this brigade, there's a couple Latvians that I work with, and honestly, it's a bit awkward. It's like I don't know how to approach them. I don't know what language to speak with them. I don't remember much of the language because I don't use it, because I grew up in a Russian-speaking family. It's a bit embarrassing.
How do you identify yourself? I mean, in terms of nationality, do you consider yourself Latvian or British or Ukrainian now?
I see it like this. Yes, my ethnicity is mixed up. There's Ukrainian, there's Russian, there's Latvian. God knows what else. But I was born in Latvia, I hold Latvian passport. That makes me Latvian. So if I have a chance, obviously I'll come back to my homeland, because I've learned the values, and it's a bit of like, you're useful in the country that you were born in. I don't know, I kind of heard that somewhere, and I'm like, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. So just because I lived in England for so long doesn't mean that I identify as English. I respect their values, yes, but I wouldn't identify myself as British or Ukrainian.
Could you please describe the most maybe horrific, terrible thing you experienced during fighting?
God, I usually try not to remember them. I would say there was 2, and it actually happened recently. Well, yeah. One would be when we were driving to the position. It was on the back of a truck, and we had a drone chasing us. So I sat at the back. It was like an open area. The guy with the gun was sitting in front of me, and obviously we're driving fast. There's barely holding on. I'm just holding on like this, trying to be a turtle, trying to be low, but also not to pull out. And he's shooting at the drone, and I just duck my head, hold it. I'm just hope that we don't drive on a bump, because if I jump up, he might shoot me by accident. And I'm just like, oh my God, I don't dare turn my head back. But I did turn, I saw the drone. I couldn't tell it because I wasn't wearing my glasses, and I'm a bit blind, so I couldn't identify what it was. But just the whole chase, the whole shooting, and it just kind of like, yeah, if it hits us, we will survive, but it'll hurt. That was one. And then the second one, which was also recent, when the artillery hit way too close to us. It's about, what, 10 meters off us. And we're just sitting there also thinking, they know where we are. They know where we are. And it's that fear that, you know, they know where you are. They're going to keep sending whatever they have. Drones, artillery, skids. That's the biggest fear, is when you know that you're trapped. You don't know, you know, You have nowhere to go. Well, you have, but it's stupid to go at night when you can't see anything. There can be mines under your feet, and you're like, well, this is our life now for now. Just kind of sit there, pray. I have like a little cross in my pocket. I'm a non-believer, but after several experiences, even from the last year, when a drone flew by or something, when you know it's watching you, when you're pushed out of blindage by somebody who didn't have a rifle and you had a rifle and tells you shoot it, you just start to believe. You start to believe in miracles. Like, how did that miss you? How did you end up in this situation safe when there's a fight going on? When the Russians are coming in waves and you're not there to help your guys. It's pure luck. I didn't want to be there. I was fighting with the medics last year, with the head medic saying, let me go. I want to go. I don't need those injections. I want to go and help my guys. I'm a combat medic. I'm supposed to be out there helping them, saving them. And they kept me because they're like, it's our final decision. You're not going and that's it. And I had guilt afterwards that was like, what if you were there? You could have died, you could have survived, doesn't matter, got injured, but you might have saved people. And it's the what ifs which brought me back. That was like the unfinished business. I don't want to make the same mistake again. I don't want to look like I'm a coward. I'm helpless. I can't do anything, but there's that. So, like, honestly, those adrenaline-filled situations, so far for me, thankfully, in a sense, they're rare. But that guilt, it lingers, that survivor's guilt. Why did he have to die when he had, let's say, we have young people around my age who come here, but they have children already. They get injured, they die, and you think, why them? Why not me? And that pushes you to do more.
Maybe you have some message you want to tell to Latvian public or something I haven't asked. So
definitely a big thanks to all the people, all the volunteers who work from Latvia that are sending drones, vehicles, other supplies. It is greatly appreciated. It's very much appreciated here. Especially, for example, for us, we have everything, but we don't have drones. We don't have drones, we can't do reconnaissance. If we can't do reconnaissance, we don't know what's going on the other side of the river. We don't know how they're moving, and because there's only river separating the city, the city, from the Russians, I mean, if we don't know their movement, that's how we would lose. Even like a pair of socks, a toothbrush, anything like that, it honestly makes people's day. They're like, we need that. Might be abundance of socks, but they will come handy. So when it comes to more stuff like drones, more expensive, it's like God, it's a godsend and everything. And those donations and volunteer aid, it does make a lot of difference.
okay, thank you very much, Dana. Be safe.